These guys are like Ukraine's Navy SEALs, and they're seemingly in the fight everywhere, from the country's north to the east, and of course in the south, where they're conducting river crossing operations in Kherson and strike missions throughout Crimea. Today we're talking with Horace, the intelligence officer for Ukraine's 73rd Naval Special Operations Center. We talk about the unit's past operations, learn how they refine drone tactics and technology that are changing week by week, and more. Now, this interview is organized through Ukraine Aid Operations, where I'm helping to fundraise for unmanned ground vehicles, or UGVs, recon drones, and power stations for a handful of Ukrainian units. We're now at 97,000 raised, and the team has already made 3 or 4 deliveries to the units. In fact, just this past week, they delivered 3 Mavic thermal drones to the 73rd, the unit that we're talking to today. So if interested and able, the link to contribute is in the pinned comment and the description below. And with that, let's get to the conversation. All right, Horace, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today, sir. We're excited to get into some of this information about the 73rd and what you guys are doing, because it seems like every time there's a picture or video that comes out from your unit, it's all over the place. It's in Kursk, it's in Kherson, it's in the east, it's everywhere. Would you be able to talk real quick about what makes your unit different? What's the organization? What's the structure to where the 73rd is unique?
So the main point for making us unique, it's we have a Navy component, a Navy battalion in our structure, and based on that, we have a lot of tasks, whose include some water component in a river operation, sea operations, river crossing operations, so everything about that, and all the tasks what have a SOF, our Ukraine SOF, all water tasks we have. So depend of where we have a main task, for example in the Kursk region, in Kherson, we're doing the job. Also, we're doing a ground operation similar like a 3rd or 8th regiment, but our main difference, it's definitely a Navy component.
It sounds like, and correct me if I'm off here, but it sounds like a similar comparison to the U.S. Navy SEALs in that you can do all of the ground operations, but you have a specialty in naval. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's correct.
So that probably means you guys have been relatively active in the southern portion of Ukraine. And I know the fight in and around Kherson has changed a lot year after year with the river separating Ukrainian and Russian forces. Would you be able to talk through what that war has looked like specifically? River crossings, patrolling the river, maybe watching for Russian forces in that area?
So starting from beginning of war, every time the tactic on water changing. It depends firstly from drones, because not year but month by month, drone we have more and more drone in a battle. So if comparing 2022 year, we can simply provide a landing operation in whole of Kherson region, for example in the Kinburn Spit or Delta Dnipro River. It's we can, in the past, we can provide assault action on the boats, some assault and some enemy position on the island, so stolen some enemy from position in the Kinburn Spit in 2022, 2023.
Wow.
But after 2023, we have a big progress on the drone components, and for now, like we have every time 24/7 hours UAV on the air and always watching on the field, like enemy also have a similar capability. It's be like a Mavic component on a tactical level, it's be a big ISR, enemy ISR like and can fly it pretty deep inside, around 40 or 50 click. So That's why we always change our tactic and always put on that tactic more and more drone component. So it's a need for save our guys and provide the success mission. So for understanding, yeah, we have a progress, we have problems with enemy drones, but no one don't take off from us our tasks, and we must make success tasks. So that's why we also modified our tactic and put more and more drones in our center, also in our units.
In Kherson, just because there's a river separating the forces, it's unique as to other areas of the front. Have you noticed that Russia sends a different type of unit there to defend, maybe different capabilities, different effectiveness than elsewhere
Um,
along the front?
yes, so Russians using them uh, Marines units in a nearby Dnieper River, Coast Guard units from Crimea. So nothing too secret, everyone known. So they using 126 Coast Guard Brigade from Crimea in here in the Kherson region. Also 61 Marine Brigade here also. And they also using another soft component who can working on the water also.
So is there an active, I know it's changed a lot because of the drones, but is there an active fight over some of those small islands in the Dnipro?
Yeah, so for now, yeah, they trying to get that islands under control, but our forces, not even we, also our infantry, who's working on that area, always working against them, using also a lot of drone, like Mavic, FPV drone, and another drones to engage in them, and our forces for now would be pretty success, and almost all enemy trying to send infantry on the islands and unsuccessful for enemy. They losing the boats and they losing the personnel on that action.
Right. It's wide open. I don't. Do you have any idea why they would be trying to? Because it doesn't seem like a large scale movement across the river is feasible. So, what would the purpose be of taking these small islands?
For my opinion, they have a task. Task is taking the islands for controlling, and after that they have a good view on our side, and they think maybe it can protect them left bank what they controlling for now, protect from our maybe some landing action, and that's why they higher command decide pushing enemy on assaults.
Makes sense. I do want to shift down to Crimea and ask you some questions about that area as well, but kind of a bridge there in a sense are the USVs, unmanned surface vessels that we see a lot of in the Black Sea. Are those, or is there anything like that being used in the Dnipro?
I can tell many about that, but we saw like enemy trying using some small USV for logistic.
Okay.
For logistic, yeah, we saw that.
Not strike, but more logistic reconnaissance
Yeah,
type missions.
yeah, it's
Interesting.
a small one. It's a not large like in open sources. You can saw the Sea Baby from SBU or Magura from GUR. It's a big one for sea. They using smaller for logistic points.
Interesting. Okay. And shifting down into Crimea here, but first I just wanted to say that this was put together and organized by Ukraine Aid Operations, who's running a fundraiser for additional drones. We just got news the other day that it sounds like 3 Mavic thermal drones were delivered at 73rd, which is awesome. So anybody who's interested and capable, please check out the link in the description below. Horace is explaining exactly what these drones are going towards. They're incredibly useful today to save lives on the battlefield. Shifting down to Crimea, another area that when I think of naval, when I think of water in this conflict, of course, you have to think about the peninsula. How has that changed for your unit over the last couple of years?
So we also working in the Crimea area. We have a success operation. It's also being open source. We have a success operation on the gas plates nearby Crimea. Our team's pretty big success in that. Also, we have a success maybe 1 week ago, around in beginning of that month, we have a success joint operation with a special operation unit from Ukrainian National Guard. We have a together operation and cannot explain all details, but end of that mission we destroy radar system Nibo M. Long range radar from that system cost around up to $100 million. So general 3 of them were destroyed, and it's be long range radar up to 100 millions, and medium range radar and command post CT node cost also up to similar price. So general Russians lose $200 million after our success operation. It's a big success for us and for joint work.
That's impressive. It seems like a lot of the work recently in Crimea has been trying to make it untenable for Russian forces, if that makes sense. A lot of strikes like that, where it's just nonstop, every couple days or every few weeks. It does sound like there's another big operation like this that's relatively costly to the Russian forces.
So here in Ukraine, we haven't a lot of assets for providing a big operation day by day without deeply planning. So we have only few assets, not many, and each that asset we must very smart using. And that's why each our step in Crimea we're smartly planning, trying to gather more and more information, and based on our precise information we make that. And also, we maybe haven't a lot of long-range missiles, but we always trying to find another technology and another ways to deliver our strike to target.
I'd be interested in the process of how you get to that, because, so as an example, that spiderweb operation a few weeks ago that hit some Russian aircraft deep inside of Russia, it seems like there would have to be a lot of feedback from the unit, from you guys, to say, here's what works, here's the way to go about doing this, and you're able to push that up, not just for tactics, but for new systems that are developed. Like some of the technology that we see for the first time when something in Crimea explodes, for instance. But of course, you're testing that and you're practicing with it. Is there a good system for you and for your unit to give that feedback up to kind of drive change in this new aspect of the war?
Yeah, if we have a success in every point, so always we send our after mission review to hire to learn lessons, and our more good point than enemy. So we haven't one person in whole army who decide what we must making. So, for example, in Russian they making the FPV drone named Molnia, yes, and everyone make that. In Ukraine, we can have 100 different versions of that type of drones. And each unit can select the type drone who be best for them. So we using our assets, what good for us. Another unit using another assets who's been good for them. And based on that, we have a more success because each direction a bit different. So you cannot using everything what you using in a Kherson, for example, or in Donetsk, using in a Sumy region or Kharkiv, everything changing, and enemy have different units, different tactic, and we must to find the ways how engage more enemy targets, how be more precise and more effective. And that's why we have a large numbers of drones of another assets to hit the enemy.
There's a lot of creativity. You guys are finding ways to use drones that I don't think anybody was thinking of sometimes a few months ago, but definitely a few years ago. Are there times where ideas come down from leadership and it's a little bit crazy and you guys have to push back and say that's not something that we can do with these drones, or that's not going to work for this, that, or the other reason?
The big point about us, so our higher command always, almost always, listening what we speaking to them. So we told them, so look, that drone it's be good, need to use that, definitely for us, yeah. So that one it's not good, not need using, and year by year, our higher command in Kyiv, it's maybe general staff higher, they understand the units here and modify the system. And ideas, technology ideas, some technology decision going from low, going from brigades, regiments, because brigades, regiments also are working with different factories who provide it, and we push our good experience higher, and based on our good experience, our higher command decide what we need buying or not.
That's awesome. I don't think folks will understand how much harder that is in practice than in just saying it. We have a saying in the U.S., the good idea fairy. I don't know if you've heard something like that, but it's the idea that a magic person is sitting on your shoulder and coming up with nonsense ideas that sound good, but the minute they get out to the soldiers that would actually implement them, they're crazy and they don't make any sense at all. So I like that. It's really impressive you guys had that feedback loop figured out.
So simple in our work also. So when I want to do something or help our units, I'm always speaking with simple pilot. For example, about drones, I spoke with simple pilot. Hey, what FPV drone do you need exactly? I'm not taking something what I know and push to him. No, I'm always asking him, hey, what you need? Yeah, he's telling me, he's explaining me some different technical moments, and based on that, I'm trying to deliver to him the drone what he's want. Because if your pilot's working on best drones for them, you have a good success. If they working, I apologize for my English, on a piece of shit, yeah, it's a bit
Good English.
bad results. So you haven't anything, only lose the drones, lose the money, and that's all. For instance, our one of our unit after last month engaged in, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 artillery system using a good FPV drones, because they have exactly what they need, and it's a result. It's a good result, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You ask the people that have the firsthand experience what works and what doesn't, down to the point of what type of charge actually destroys this type of target. And I'm sure the higher up you go, the less that's clear, because it should. On paper, a certain type of munition should do the damage, but maybe it doesn't always actually do that in the field.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, always better directly asking from pilot, not based on some papers, on some statistic. No, ask the people, and they tell you what they need. Always tell you, but only ask.
Another interesting aspect here I was hoping to get your thoughts on is the counter-drone technology, because I would imagine there's a lot that your drone pilots are seeing when they're flying into Russian positions. They can see what's working against Ukrainian drones. So what does the process look like over the last couple of years to come up with ways to keep your positions and your troops safe from these drones?
It's like street racing. So someone be first, for example, drones flight and engage an enemy some object. Enemy trying to find assets for protection, them forces. They find something. We understand that drones on that frequency not working anymore, and we find another ways, another frequency. Enemy finds solution against that frequency. We find solution and change frequency. So it's process be always changed.
Sure.
For now we have optic cable drones. Yeah, enemy have a lot of that optic cables to protect them drones against our German station. We also have a lot of solution how protect our forces against optic cable drone, against simple drones, FPV, or Mavics also. So it's like a street racing who's be sometimes we prevail, sometimes Russians make something pretty good what push us to working on another technical solution.
It's nonstop.
Yeah,
It sounds
always.
like.
So if we're talking about FPV drones, it's changing every month, maybe few months. So it's, always changing.
Have you noticed, you're talking about a good system of lessons learned and sharing inside of the Ukrainian military. Have you noticed that the Russians do that as well? Not as much? Or do you have any insight into that at all?
It depends for them units, but
Okay.
different units on maybe army level or higher. So I cannot deeply explain that, but in Russian army, everything depends from key persons, some generals, and they decide a direction what they go into. So it's them way.
More
Our
top
way,
down. Yeah.
yeah. It's our way. We're more trying to hear the simple soldier.
Like, I mean, I think that's the top down versus bottom up refinement is what it sounds like. That's interesting. Well, Horace, I know you're busy. You've got a lot going on, and I just want to say I really appreciate you taking the time to talk today through what the 73rd is doing and explaining just what you guys are getting after day in and day out. It really means a lot, sir.
Yeah. So thank you personally for your helping. Thank you your guys who watching us for all help what you're doing. Thank you for what you given to big to all people on the west. You give a right view, so Ukrainian fighting for. Definitely we in Ukraine fighting for our independence.
It's important. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Horace, and we'll talk soon, sir. So thank you again so much to Horace for taking the time to talk for a bit today. Again, if interested and able in contributing to a fundraiser that is sending drones directly to Horace and his unit, check out the link in the description, run through Ukraine Aid Operations. But that's all we got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.